Dementia. It's a condition that affects so many of us, our parents, our grandparents, our friends. It creates this cloud of uncertainty that's just incredibly tough on families. But what if we could use technology to cut through that fog? What if we had a new tool that could see this disease more clearly than ever before? Well, that's exactly what we're going to explore. To really get a sense of the scale here, just look at this number, 10 million. That's roughly how many new cases of dementia there are worldwide, every single year. It's a staggering global health crisis. And the very first step in fighting back is getting the diagnosis right. And that's the real kicker. Because diagnosing dementia is not like a simple blood test. It's an incredibly complex puzzle, and so many of the pieces look almost identical. Getting it right is absolutely crucial, but it is so difficult. So, in this first part, we're going to dive right into why this is such a dilemma. What makes diagnosing dementia so incredibly challenging, even for the best doctors out there?
Okay, so imagine you're the clinician. You have a patient in front of you, and you have to figure out which of these boxes they fit into. Is it just normal, age-related forgetfulness, or is it something more, like mild cognitive impairment, which could get worse or might not? Could it be Alzheimer's? Or maybe it's one of the dozens of other types of dementia that can look just like it. Telling these apart, it's a clinical minefield that takes years and years of specialized training.
And here's where the problem gets even bigger. That expertise, it's not available everywhere. There's already a shortage of these specialists, especially if you don't live in a big city, and that shortage is only expected to get worse. So we've got this growing problem and a shrinking pool of experts to solve it. It's that exact gap that this new technology is designed to fill. To tackle this head-on, researchers have developed an amazing new deep learning framework. And I want to be really clear about this. The goal isn't to replace doctors, not at all. The idea is to give them a powerful new tool. Think of it like an expert co-pilot, helping them make better, more confident decisions. So the system they built is what's called a multimodal AI. The easiest way to think about it is like a master detective. A good detective doesn't just look at one clue, right? They look at everything. The brain scan, sure, but also the patient's age, their test scores, their medical history, the whole shebang. This AI fuses all of that information together to see the complete picture. And to prove this idea worked, the researchers actually built 3 different models. One AI only got to see the MRI scans. A second one only saw the clinical data, test scores, patient history. And then there was the third, the fusion model, that got to see everything. And as you can probably guess, the AI that had all the evidence was by far the most powerful. So how does this AI actually think? Well, it follows a 2-step process that's designed to mimic how a real clinic works. Step 1 is the cog task. Figure out the person's overall cognitive state. Are they normal, mildly impaired, or do they have dementia? Then, and only if it detects dementia, it moves to step 2, the AD task. Okay, what kind of dementia is it? Is it Alzheimer's or is it something else? So, the AI has a solid game plan. But the million-dollar question is, how good is it, really? To find out, the researchers put it to the ultimate test, a head-to-head comparison with practicing human specialists. And here it is, the headline, the big reveal, straight from the study itself. When the AI was given the exact same patient files as a team of expert neurologists, its accuracy was right there with them. It reached the same level. This chart really shows you what that means. Just look at the first 2 bars, the Fusion AI and the average neurologist. They are neck and neck. Statistically, they're performing at the same level, which is incredible. And then look at that third bar. That's the AI that only saw the MRI scans. See how much lower it is? That's why that multimodal approach, seeing the whole picture, is such a game changer. But wait, it gets even more interesting. In a totally separate test, they gave the MRI-only AI a different job. Just look at the brain scans and tell the difference between Alzheimer's and other dementias. This is a task for a neuroradiologist. And in that specific task, the AI actually outperformed the average human specialist. Okay, so the AI is clearly accurate. But, and this is a really big but, for a doctor to ever trust this thing, it can't just be a black box. You can't just have an AI spit out an answer. You need to know how it got there. And this is where the research gets truly fascinating, because they found a way to literally look inside the AI's mind. They used this really clever technique called SHAP. Now, without getting too technical, SHAP is basically a tool that makes the AI explain its reasoning.
For a brain scan, it creates this heat map that shows you exactly what regions of the brain the AI was focusing on to make its diagnosis. It shows you what the AI thinks is important.
And what they found was just wow. When the AI was looking at scans of Alzheimer's patients, the SHAP heat maps would light up in very specific places. These hotspots consistently appeared in the hippocampus and the temporal lobes, which, as neuroscientists have known for decades, are the exact parts of the brain that are hit first and hardest by Alzheimer's. The AI taught itself the correct neuroanatomy from scratch.
And this, right here, this is the mic drop moment. This is the ultimate proof. The researchers were able to compare the AI's heat maps to the results from brain autopsies, which is the absolute gold standard for a definitive diagnosis. And they found that the areas the AI flagged on the scans were the same areas where the physical markers of the disease were actually found in the brain tissue. It's a direct link between the AI's digital reasoning and biological reality.
So, what does this all mean? We have this incredibly powerful and now transparent tool. How can it actually help us solve that dementia diagnosis dilemma we talked about at the beginning? What does this mean for the future?
Well, the potential impact here is enormous. Remember, this is about assistance, not replacement. A tool like this could help standardize care, so a patient in a small rural town gets the same level of diagnostic insight as someone at a top urban hospital. It could dramatically increase access for everyone. And maybe most importantly, it could speed up the entire process, giving patients and their families the clear answers they so desperately need much, much sooner.
And that really brings us to the final thought. What we're looking at here is a technology that can reason like a top neurologist and see patterns like a top neuroradiologist, and its logic is grounded in real-world biology. So the question really isn't if AI will be part of dementia care anymore. The real question is, how soon will an AI copilot like this just be standard equipment in every memory clinic in the world?